What is up YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to tackle the Morbius Simulator challenge. Also, I'm going to try to provide you with information on the previous tasks as well, so if you're struggling on any of those, I will try my best to help. If you still need any extra tips, then I'll try to make a video and help you with those as well. Now heading into the final task, I had heard some things but I didn't know exactly what to expect. So this is it right here, Bloodwork 6 of 6. Complete the Morbius Sim challenge in the S.H.I.E.L.D. simulator, and you're going to get 1 CP. But also on top of that, for finishing the Morbius set, you're going to get 5 CP. This is great because it does cost you 5 command points to recruit him. So in essence, they're going to pay for it for us. Now going into the actual sim, it's going to be Morbius versus 3 waves of 2 enemies. In the first 2 waves, you're going to face a tactician. So since you are an infiltrator, you'll want to gain combat reflexes and use it to your advantage. So in the first wave, what I did was first attack the tactician, and that gave me combat reflexes. For this attack and basically all my attacks in the first 2 waves, I used my level 2 Eye Hunger. I must say though, for this first attack you could use something else, because you don't necessarily need to restore your health and stamina just yet. The most important thing is to get combat reflexes by hitting the tactician. But this is exactly what I did on my very first attempt, and I cleared the sim in 1 shot. So anyways, after you hit this tactician, then every time they attack you're going to counter with your level 1. This counter attack will hopefully take down the tactician, and next, with a counter attack damaging the slicer, you can then finish him off with an Eye Hunger. This ability is great because it increases accuracy, attack, and defense. Oh, and I almost forgot evasion as well. It also removes hunger, and restores both health and stamina. Because of this attack, you should never have to recharge. So next on the second wave, I actually attacked the blaster first, and you may have guessed it, I went ahead and used Eye Hunger once again. Now this isn't to say that you couldn't use his level 6 at some point. That's also a great ability and it could save you. But once again, thanks to that tactician, we gain combat reflexes and finish off the blaster. So I end up using Eye Hunger on him, and then unfortunately we go into the final wave and don't have combat reflexes. That's the drawback to finishing him on our turn, and then getting the first turn in this third wave. As you can see, there's no tactician in this one. Since this was my first time doing this sim, I didn't realize I'd get away with using an Eye Hunger once, and then they're going to put an end to that. So yes, unfortunately you can't just spam his level 2. After our first hit, a text message will appear, and it pretty much tells us that they want us to use our level 9. This truthfully frightened me because I heard horror stories about sudden death happening. Instead, I try not to use it, and so we use a Fly-by-Night on the Enforcer. This attack does end up killing him because of deadly crits. However, just to put this out there, you may want to use Mesmerize instead. This attack does have a 75% chance to mind control, also to disorient, and a 60% chance to possess. With my next Fly-by-Night I do very little damage, and that's when I figured I need to use our level 9. The good news is it's a quick action, the bad news is it applies random buffs, and has a chance to apply random debuffs. So, we don't know what we're going to get, and we could end up ultimately hurting ourselves. I really wasn't a fan of that, but I guess it is what it is. So next I use a Fly-by-Night, and I suppose this time we do a decent amount of damage. The other difficult part is without using our level 2, we are running out of stamina. Because of this, and my fear of that level 9, I end up using a recharge. This is going to roughly bring us back close to 3,000 stamina. So on the Ice Pick's next turn he hits us and places Bleed. This obviously boosted my sense of urgency, so we end up going for an Experimentation, and this does help us out quite a bit. We are now poisoned, but we gain Fortified Strengthened, and most importantly Regeneration. Then for the rest of this encounter I basically just managed my stamina, and I used Fly-by-Night. This was honestly my first attempt in this sim, and I do understand that luck comes into play. For example, if you get some bleed stacks, it's going to really hurt your chances, and that can happen much sooner than it did to me. I actually tried to go back in here, that way I could do another test, and maybe find a better method for a video. But I already recruited Morbius, so he was only at level 1. Needless to say, I failed with the level 1 Morbius. But what I can tell you is using that Mesmerize early on in this final wave, I'm sure will make a big difference. If I had it to do all over again, I would definitely try to turn these two on each other. Remember to use Eye Hunger, gain combat reflexes, and then on this final wave use Mesmerize on the Ice Pick, because he does end up having that bleed and he does more damage. Then if you can use your experimentation and gain strengthened or something as useful as regeneration, that will obviously go a long way. Then after you complete this task, you'll get 5 CP and you can go and get Morbius for that exact cost. So just to touch on the other tasks, for the Ooze collection, what you're going to want to do is focus on mission 1. I would just go into that mission, do all the deploys, especially the named ones, and then you can go ahead and abandon the mission if you want. It all depends on your unstable ISO 8 constraints. Then for the next task, you can easily use Morbius in mission 2 Expurgo. You can go into any battle there and use Morbius on your team, so that one's a fairly easy task. Next, for the Vampire and Demon packs, I was actually given a very good tip from a friend named Mark. Here's exactly how he told me to do it, and it worked out perfectly. First, go to mission 4, fight the 3 red fights, but don't fight the mini-bosses. Then go into the Dracula and Mephisto fight, and kill the first 2 waves. After that, you let the bosses take your team out, or Doctor Strange, and then you go back into it, fight the first 2 waves, and keep repeating. You can get credit for 2 packs each time, and you can get all 10 done right there. So thank you Mark for the detailed breakdown, and you can go and check his group out. It's the Marvel Knights on Facebook. Then there's 2 other great groups I'd invite you to take a look at. That's the New Avengers and the Avengers Task Force. Thank you all for sharing my videos and for all the support. As for this video, that's going to be the end of the simulator challenge and the recruitment of Morbius. I once again have every hero in the game, so the only thing left to do is go ahead and level them, and I'll do it as fast as I possibly can. I'll make sure to have a video of them in PvP as soon as I can, and there will be a Blade video coming very soon. Lastly, I want to thank you all for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.